So I thought it was a strong speech, and first what I liked about it was the tone. It was respectful, it was unifying, and above all, it was optimistic about the future of America. You know, one of the things that I've been saying back home in our great state, we have a lot of challenges, but to me, there's cause for a lot of optimism. And I think the president laid out a lot of what that optimism was about. So it was the second part of the speech that I liked. He was talking about and focusing on things that people actually care about back home, back in Alaska. Talking about jobs, talking about a strong economy, talking about stimulating that economy with the tax reform bill, the historic tax reform bill that we just completed in December. Talked about the need for infrastructure and permitting reform, where we can actually get projects built on time, not taking 10 or 15 years to permit a project. Importantly, the president focused on the opioid crisis and the epidemic. He mentioned this statistic last year: 64,000 Americans were killed through overdose or addiction. A lot of it opioids and heroin. That's why I'm wearing this purple ribbon. A number of us, bipartisan group of senators, wore this ribbon tonight to signify awareness of this issue that's ripping through a lot of our states and a lot of the country. If we had 64,000 Americans killed by, say, Ebola, we'd be spending a lot of money on it. I believe that we need to dedicate a lot of resources to that. And then he talked about national security. Certainly some of the successes in the last year. ISIS has been almost annihilated due to the great leadership of Secretary Mattis and the brave men and women in our military who've carried out that mission, but also some of the challenges like North Korea. But I think the thing I liked most of all about the speech was how he was reminding us, Americans, of our character, of the greatness of this country, by telling stories about American heroes. And he laced his entire speech throughout with examples of American heroism, starting appropriately, in my view, and importantly to Alaska, with the Coast Guard, a member of the Coast Guard who was doing hours and hours of rescue missions during the natural disasters in Texas and other places. He got a great standing O from so many people. Mentioned other members of the military, Border Patrol agents, and then he ended with something that was really remarkable: a North Korean refugee who has dedicated his life to try and help the people of that impoverished country. And I think the image of that young man with his crutches is probably the big image from the night. So overall, I think it was a strong first State of the Union address for the president, and laid out what most Alaskans are focused on in the optimism that I think is going to be important for us to take advantage of what I think is a future that is going to be bright for all of us.